Welcome back, Hobby Maniacs. Baer here. And today we're going to take a look at the new Armored Container box set from Games Workshop. It's a $50 box set that comes with 3 sprues, 3 identical sprues, of course, and you can make all that you see here. And of course, so in some configuration, the new Armored Cache for Warhammer 40k. And of course, you get the rules in here as well.
Spiky bits. Make sure you stay in the trenches by becoming a supporter over on Patreon and also scoring yourself some free miniature swag in the process. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Check out our site, spikybits.com, for all the hot hobby tutorials, news, rumors on all your favorite hobby topics. And head on over to thelongwar.net. That's the home of the battle reports for exclusive content, early access videos, and more. Become a veteran of the Long War today.
So this, along with the Brood Lord, as well as the Adeptus Ministorum Tech Priest, are the new releases for this week. Now, of course, I didn't pick those up because I'm like, hey, it's a clan pack. Everybody's kind of seen this. It's already been out, and we have reviewed actually both of them in the past on here already. But I'm sure I'll flash up a picture of them on the screen here just so you can get an idea. What I thought was interesting about the two was that the Gene Stealer actually comes in, or excuse me, the Brood Lord actually comes in a box set, which kind of makes sense because it was 2 sprues. So that's an interesting precedent to see Games Workshop doing, because we hadn't seen them putting the clan packs into an actual box in the past. And so now you're seeing these 2 sprue, and when I say sprue, we're talking like the very small, like the single clan pack size sprue, but 2 of those, we're seeing that go into a box now, which may explain the price of $40, may not, I don't know, it just kind of depends on how you feel about that. But I can tell you what, it makes that, you know, finding that old Death Storm box definitely very attractive, and I would imagine that in the future we'll see him, you know, reprinted, so to speak, in system collecting boxes, start collecting boxes, or some other starter boxes here in the near future. And of course, we're hearing rumors about Deathwatch getting something new, better, faster, stronger as well here in the near future, maybe this fall. It also looks like the cats are running around batshit crazy, so to speak, this morning. I don't know what's going on. Could be impending danger. This may be my last video ever. Who knows? Anywho, so back to this. So, well, another interesting parallel that I wanted to make real quick was the Brood Lord came out in the fall, or actually Black Friday weekend of 2014, as part of the Death Storm starter box that was the whole Shield of Baal and saga and everything like that, right? So that was interesting to see. And then the Tech Priest actually came out last year at Black Friday. It was part of the two box, or the 2 miniature set, where it came with a Lehman Russ battle tank as well. So if you start thinking about it, you're like, man, they almost have, it seems like they're doing this formula of reprinting things and putting things out. So, you know, people are like, oh, G-Dub's stupid, they don't know what they're doing, but at the end of the day, I start to think they kind of have an idea, you know, so to speak. So anyways, back to the armored containers. This was a really interesting release, just because we saw this several weeks ago. Somebody got a hold of these, I guess, and was selling them, I don't know how, but they were selling them 2 weeks ahead of time on eBay in the UK, and they were going for about 20 pounds, which led a lot of people to believe they would be about 33 bucks US here. So that didn't really kind of come to pass, I guess. It turned out that that isn't the case. They are $50 retail right here. So that's definitely an interesting increase from what was expected, so to speak. Now, these miniatures that are pictured here, a lot of people really haven't talked about a lot, but these look to be the new getting started paint guide or paint set miniatures, which a lot of people are saying are actually bigger than the multi-part ones that come in a tactical squad. I haven't got my hands on it yet to check out, but I guarantee you in the near future, I definitely want to take that plunge, because that could really mean some big things, I feel like, for 40k, right? Okay, so getting a little closer here, you're going to get 3 of each of these sprues in here as well. So we kind of know where we're coming from there. Not a big surprise. Okay, 3 sprues, identical, cool. Good to know. But what I wanted to talk about was this instruction manual right here. This actually comes with all the data sheets that you need, which we already saw with the rules in here. They're also in last week's White Dwarf, I believe 123, the bigger, better looking data sheet right there. So to put these together, it's very simple. It's just basically, it's literally a box, building a box with 4 sides and 2 ends, and then there's 2 little data sheet panel little doodads right here, and then of course some Imperial Aquilas that are, you know, optional 100%, whether you want to glue them on there or not. And then the only thing that's left to glue together is the little barrel. So pretty simple stuff right there, right? And then it gets to the rules. So I mean, literally the easiest kit to put together in the history of ever. Okay, so here's the sprues themselves, which you can tell are, you know, basically exactly what we saw. It's a bunch of sides, a top, an end, some optional pieces here. Of course, the storm bolter to guard your corrugated metal box, right? And then the barrels that you can put together. And, oh, and the little crates right there, which don't need assembly because they're actually hollow on the bottom. So the question is, you know, how detailed are these? Well, these are not Chinese plastic, you know, they're not imported. They even say on the box, you know, they don't have that little blurb right there where it says, you know, imported from China or whatever, and assembled in the UK or packaged in the UK, whatever the big thing was last week with the bases, you know, being whether you think they were as detailed as, you know, they were on the box, the actual product, or not. They definitely weren't the normal multi-part plastic quality injection molding that we're used to from stuff like this that definitely holds crisp detail. I mean, you can see the crisp detail in here from, you know, the plating, the little etched designs and things like that. And, you know, a lot of folks were like, well, you know, stuff's squished down so you can put your models on. And I understand that, but, you know, at the end of the day, even the diamond plating, in my opinion, was flat. You know, it just wasn't that quality. Yes, those bases are still a great deal. They're an amazing resource for every hobbyist out there, and I hope they come out with more varieties of them. But I, in my heart of hearts, feel like what was on the box was not what came in the box, so to speak. And, you know, that's just my professional opinion as a reviewer. And it's interesting because, you know, if I pan something Games Workshop puts out, I'm being overly harsh on it, you know, in a lot of people's eyes. And then if I always say everything Games Workshop puts out, then I'm a shill. So it's like, oh, well, you know, I'm just going to keep saying my opinion, and I can't make everybody happy. I'm not even going to try. I'm just going to stay true to myself there in that regard. So getting back to this, obviously higher quality than what we saw last week. You can kind of tell exactly how big they are. I mean, even the insides are like extremely detailed. You know, even this area where you would put figures that, you know, it flips out, it's still very well detailed. I mean, you can see all of the little foot pads and things, even right here. This is extremely detailed. Like, yes, it's flat. You can put a dude on it, and you can definitely fit at least a 25 millimeter base in here, probably a 32. You know, you could put 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 5 dudes in here, a little tactical squad, not counting stuff on the end on the ramp there. And then as far as detailing on the inside goes, you can see right there all the cross hatching, all the vents and things like that. There's even a little data pad on the inside as well. I guess if they get stuck in there, they can program it, or maybe that's how they play Game Boy, where they're basically shooting the storm bolters. I'm not exactly sure. The top has the hatches right here, of course. But, you know, the top and the bottom are basically exactly the same. So I suppose you could go in between crates if they are stacked together, right? I don't know, is that a new house rule? We'll see. So you can't really fit 40 millimeter bases in here, which is fine. I mean, that's kind of a little bit of a bridge too far, I feel like. But you can definitely fit your 32s and your 25s in here. And then there you can see how basically the crates go together, or the barrels go together. Very similar to the old style crate and barrel Battlefield accessory set that came out way back in the day in a little baggie. And then, of course, so you got 3 of those. And then your crates right here are hollow, so you can stack them or you can leave them out in the open. You could even use them, you know, this one right here would go, you could even put it at the end right here and wall up the entrance, or even make, you know, cover on the entrance to come into the crate itself. So I feel like this is a really cool looking product. Something that, yeah, it is a little pricey. It's $50, so, you know, they're $17-ish a sprue, give or take. And but then again, it boils down to it's a hobby. You know, we put it together, we paint it. It's what separates us from things like, you know, Fantasy Flight's pre-paints and X-Wing and all sorts of the things like that. So overall, I feel like this is a great product. It's highly detailed. It looks like very simple to put together. It's another great way to get some battlefield terrain. It has rules, of course, which we saw right here. You know, flipping through all that, and you can make the battlefield cache as well. I mean, that right there is indicative of exactly what you can build, and you know that takes up a pretty decent footprint on the tabletop itself. Now, what I wanted to see was, when I didn't, it looks like the little storm bolters, yeah, they're like a peg and slot kind of design right there. So it looks like you can put them together, but you don't necessarily have to glue them in. You can pull them out and push them in, you know, when you're stacking the crates here. So just it kind of depends on if you want that extra firepower, you know, in the rule set there. And I imagine we're going to see a lot of these on tabletops and terrain, you know, terrain boards and things like that here going into the future, as far as releases go. So not too bad, I feel like, for $50. It's a good purchase this week. You know, they're coming out. We'll probably see a bunch of these out there in the near future, at least on a lot of people's game boards, I feel like. So check it out. It's a good release. And of course, you've got the Tyranid Broodlord also for $40, and then the Adeptus Ministorum Tech Priest as well for $30. So not too bad. A bunch of releases for this week, and then coming up next week, it looks like we have the 2 start collecting boxes for the Guard as well as Chaos. And I think, and Lost Patrol, of course. So we'll be doing some walkthroughs on that one as well.
Deleted scenes, bonus content, and all the interviews and post-game wrap-up videos can be located in the Hall of Veterans on thelongwar.net. Visit thelongwar.net today and try a week completely free with no strings attached. That's not all. TheLongWar.net is also your hobby resource for exclusive early access with an ad-free experience to all your favorite videos. Members of the Hall of Veterans gain early exclusive access to multiple hobby videos.